Welcome to the Action for Healthy Kids Parent Leadership Series. We're still waiting for a couple more people to arrive, and then we'll get started in just a couple of minutes. Alrighty, hello everyone, and thanks again for joining us today. My name is Heidi Knobloch, and I'm the Illinois Field Manager for Action for Healthy Kids. Today's webinar is entitled How to Create a Healthier School Food Culture, and it is brought to you by Action for Healthy Kids. We have two presenters today, Caroline Rafael Blanco, who's our Regional Field Manager of the South and Southeast, and Melody Griffin, who's our Florida State Coordinator. So before we get started, let's review some logistics. Once you're linked in, you'll see a control panel, which is usually on the right-hand side of your screen. You can use either your telephone or your computer speakers to listen to the presentation, but everyone will be muted to avoid static and background interference. There's also a dialog box at the bottom of your control panel. You can use this box to type in questions as we're going along, and we'll try and get them answered later in the presentation or at the very least via email following the webinar. And so you know the webinar is being recorded, and links to the recording and the handouts will be sent to you within 2 to 3 business days following the webinar. So at this time, I'll switch it over to Caroline, and she can tell you a little bit more about Action for Healthy Kids and our mission.
Great. Thanks so much, Heidi, and thanks everyone for joining us. Like Heidi mentioned, the call is being recorded, so we're going to send you all of this great information in a follow-up email. So first, I'd like to give you a little background on Action for Healthy Kids. Action for Healthy Kids fights childhood obesity, undernourishment, and physical inactivity by helping schools really become healthier places. Everyone who works with us are moms, dads, teachers, students, school and community leaders and representatives, and school wellness experts as well, who have really banded together to create a healthier learning environment for our children. We believe that everyone has a part to play in ending the nation's childhood obesity epidemic, and so we try to provide as many tools and resources to equip those to do so. We were founded in 2002 by former Surgeon General David Satcher, and today we have more than 60,000 members, and we work with thousands of schools nationwide. We also partner with dozens of professional associations, government agencies, and corporations at both the national and local levels. So we really try to connect schools with as many resources as possible. Our Parent Leadership Series is part of our larger series of school wellness webinars. Action for Healthy Kids believes that parents play a crucial role in creating healthy school communities. And we found that school communities, which include strong parent advocates, are generally more effective at creating changes which are sustainable and permanent. So we've developed a whole series for parents, as you can see through all of these topics outlined on the slide. You'll see that we've divided these into 6 separate webinars, which we'll present live throughout the year. And as always, we have the latest ones that are archived on our website, so you can view at a later point. But today's presentation is focused on how to create a healthier school food culture. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Melody so she can talk about some details regarding that.
Great. Thank you, Caroline. If you can go ahead and move on to the next slide, we're going to talk about what is a healthy school food culture. So we want policies and practices in place that make choosing the healthy choice really easy for our students, both inside and outside the school day. And a huge part of this is ensuring that our staff and our volunteers are serving as healthy role models. And just like the students, we want to ensure that they're doing it both in class, at lunch, as well as outside school time during special school events. We also want to ensure that kids receive consistent messaging about healthy eating. This means during class snack time, as class rewards, as class celebrations, during family events, or maybe even as in a fundraiser. The great thing about this is that parents can have a huge influence over a healthy school food culture by doing just little things throughout the school. So you may be wondering why you want to create a healthy food culture. Well, simply put, our nation is facing an obesity epidemic. Studies have related the availability of snacks and drinks sold in schools to higher intakes of unhealthy food and lower intakes of healthier items. Basically put, when the unhealthy food is available, our students are probably going to eat it. So why should we care about this? What are the benefits? Well, a healthy school culture results in so many positive things. These include policies and practice that reflect curriculum standards for health and nutrition rather than conflict with them. It also encourages students to eat healthy food. And when you implement it, it demonstrates the school's commitment to promoting healthy behaviors and really sends home the message that being healthy is a top priority. And most importantly, a healthy school food culture creates excitement around nutrition. When healthy foods are presented in a fun and engaging way, students are eager to get involved. And really, the most important thing to so many schools is that there is a direct link between healthy kids and academic performance. Research clearly shows that healthy eating is linked to better behavior and academic performance. And one of my favorite resources to prove this is Action for Healthy Kids Learning Connection. It's a great resource to help you make the connection between physical activity, healthy eating, and learning. It's an easy-to-read special report that summarizes the most recent research proving that healthy kids are better learners. And while if you're participating in this webinar today, you probably already are on board with a healthy school. You want to do something to promote that in your local school, but not everyone understands that message. Use the Learning Connection and other Action for Healthy Kids resources to help you communicate the benefits to your school and build a team of supporters to ensure long-term success and true culture change. So let's talk a little bit about competitive foods. Competitive foods are foods and beverages sold during the school day in a la carte lines, vending machines, school stores, and fundraisers, and are considered to be competitive foods because they compete with school meals for student dollars. Current federal nutrition criteria for foods sold outside of meals only apply to foods of minimal nutritional value, such as seltzer water, hard candy, and popsicles, and do not address calories, saturated fat, trans fat, sodium, or other key nutrition concerns. At the state level, about 2/3 of states have weak or no nutrition standards for foods sold outside of meals. And when we look at the school level, only about half of elementary, middle, and high school students are in school with nutrition guidelines for foods and drinks sold outside of school meals. This is really important because it has been shown that students in states that have stronger laws governing the nutrition content of competitive foods and beverages experience lower adolescent weight gain. One of the major regulations for school food is called the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act of 2010. This regulates the food sold through school lunch and breakfast programs and authorizes the USDA to set national nutritional standards for all foods sold on campus throughout the school day, including vending machines, a la carte lines in the cafeteria, school stores, and fundraisers. Smart Snacks in Schools is a component of the Healthy Hunger Free Kids Act of 2010, which applies to all foods sold in school during the school day. An interim rule is currently in place, and schools will need to be compliant at the start of the 2014-2015 school year. It's unclear to what extent shared foods, those that are not sold in school, like our birthday celebration cupcakes, those sold at school events, and snacks, will be covered with the new rules. Any current regulation covering these items would most likely come from wellness policies that individual districts put in place. All districts participating in the National School Meal Programs are required to establish a local school wellness policy that, among other things, include nutrition guidelines for all foods and beverages available on school campus, not just those considered competitive or those that are for sale. However, there is no enforcement mechanism for wellness policy guidelines outside those that might be set in place by the district, and the strength of the guidelines can be very inconsistent. Even so, advocates seeking to create a healthier school food culture can use the Healthy Hunger Free Kids Act and their local owned wellness policy as a platform to promote healthy school food practices. Let's talk a little bit about best practices. Start by making healthy options standard whenever foods are shared. This is your parties, your fundraisers, school events, and celebrations, both in and out of the classroom. This also can include snack time, school stores, and vending machines. And again, as a parent, you can have a huge impact by making small changes in these practices. Suggest a healthy item for snack, or maybe you suggest a healthy fundraiser. You can really start influencing the food atmosphere at your school. Another best practice is to choose fresh fruits and vegetables, whole grains, and low-fat or fat-free dairy products whenever possible at every school food opportunity. And living in Florida, I want to let you know water is especially important. Kids need so much water, and too often sugary drinks are their primary source. The new USDA school food guidelines require water to be available in the cafeteria at no cost for school meals. Make water a fast, easy option whenever foods are shared. Some more best practices involve limiting or eliminating unhealthy choices that interfere with nutrition education. So again, we want to go back to ensuring we're delivering consistent messaging and that make it harder for kids to internalize healthy habits. We always want to ensure that our students have the messaging to select healthy foods whenever possible. Again, some best practices include shifting the focus from food whenever you can, and promote things such as physical activity, music, arts, and games. This is so easily done through things like extra recess time, lunch with a teacher, having a student be a leader for the day, name on the board, recognition on the morning announcements. Really, the opportunities are endless, and they're most of the time very low cost. So here are the specific areas of the school food culture that we'll cover during the rest of this presentation, including healthy fundraisers, healthy birthday celebration and family events, healthy non-food rewards, healthy snacks, nutrition education and promotion, and healthy concessions and competitive foods. And at that, I'm going to pass it on to Caroline to talk a little bit about healthy fundraisers.
Great, thanks, Melody. As we know, parent groups really play a large role in choosing and really running fundraisers at their schools. And their fundraisers are important because they help to support the school sports, music, technology, and arts. but really looking at the types of fundraisers your schools are hosting and see if they promote a healthy lifestyle, or are they doing the exact opposite, which we see readily happening. Unfortunately, it's very easy to make money selling unhealthy things. The good news is, though, that there are more and more companies out there that are offering either non-food or even healthy food fundraising opportunities. So food doesn't always have to be a fundraising option. As for schools, PTAs or PTO specific events, it's really easy to plan a healthy food or even non-food and even physical activity-based fundraiser instead. But most people ask, are those types of fundraisers profitable? Because the fundraisers are really the key source of funding to help support the school's programs. But as we've seen, as more and more schools put on non-food or healthy food fundraisers, it's really becoming clear that they can actually generate profits for schools that are equal to or even greater profits from fundraising from those that are selling low nutrition foods. So as you can see from the examples on the table, schools that have hosted walkathons, scratch cards, logoed items for their schools have really made significant profits. And so regarding healthy fundraising, here are some ideas for fundraisers that involve healthy foods and even fundraisers that do not involve any type of food at all. As you can see, schools have sold candles, greeting cards, gift wrap, discount cards, coupon books, magazine subscriptions, walkathons, things like that that don't even encompass food within the fundraiser. Some healthy food fundraisers also encompass farmers markets, healthy vending options, cookbooks. We had a great school in DC that had a school garden, and so created a cookbook using some of the items from their school garden, and they incorporated recipes from the students and the families and the school food service. So they saw a great fundraising opportunity to incorporate both their school wellness program of their school garden as well as their cookbooks. So there's also active fundraisers, which are a great way to go as well. They really get your school community practicing healthy habits in a fun way. So some ideas of those could be fun walks, walkathons, runathons, bikeathons. We even have a school that's going to be hosting a dance-a-thon, so it's students against parents. So really involving the parent community, the students, the school community to really be active. So there's different types of active fundraisers that the school can really get on board with. So one of our successes comes from Hoffman Trails in Ohio. This school annually plans events as part of their fundraiser. And although their PTA was organizing an academic-based event like a history-a-thon or a math-a-thon, one of the parents, Kelly Schultz, she wasn't really excited about the types of prizes that went along with these events. They were giving away prizes such as buffet lunches at a local restaurant or fast food restaurant. So she didn't see the benefit in promoting their event because they were offering unhealthy awards for the schools. So what Kelly decided to do is she decided to host a hippity hopathon, so another type of walkathon or bikeathon or runathon that the school event can incorporate. Basically, the students were encouraged to collect pledges for their participation in the event, and depending on how much money they earned prizes like extra recess and the right to attend a dance at the school that was DJ'd by a local radio talent. And if students raised $50, they could take home their very own bouncy ball that you can see here in this photo. The event turned out to be a huge success. Every student, including handicapped students, participated. They had a blast, and afterwards, Kelly, the parent, she even received calls from parents asking if they could buy extra of those hippity hop bouncy balls to give to their siblings and other kids as Christmas presents. So they saw this huge success for both fundraising as well as improvement in their activities at school. So now we're going to move on to birthday celebrations and family events, because this is an important role with promoting healthy food options as well for schools. So we'll start with birthdays. Students' birthdays and holidays are the most common events that schools celebrate. So some schools within your state, they may or may not be allowed to do individual birthday celebrations or monthly birthday celebrations, but at some schools, kids can eat birthday treats as many as 25 times per year or more. So whether the birthday event is actually held in the classroom, what we've seen also is that parents provide some unhealthy birthday snacks to kids as they go home. So literally as the bell rings, parents are passing out large cupcakes to students as they're going home. So when you add in parties for holidays such as Halloween, Valentine's Day, birthday parties, the amount of calories from added sugar that a child can consume in the classroom over the course of a year really is significant. A recent study published in the Journal of Nutrition revealed that kids can eat as many as 1/3 of the calories that they need in an entire day at a typical 30-minute breakfast party. So that's up to 450 extra calories for the day just for the party celebration. So what we see is that we need to look at other ideas for healthier birthday celebrations. Really working with teachers or individuals to establish birthday guidelines for your school or for the classroom, and to see if any principals or PTAs will establish a school-wide or district-wide guideline as well. If parents want to bring in something for their kid's birthday, we definitely encourage that you celebrate your child's birthday, but ask them to donate something that may not be an unhealthy food option. So ask them to bring in a favorite book to the classroom so the teacher can read the book to the entire class. Some other healthy options could be to have the student help the teacher do activities for the day. So they're the special helper for the day. Let the child choose a birthday game or activity during recess. Allow for extra recess time if able. Help the teacher with the logistics of sending healthy birthday options home for other parents. So there's so many different opportunities that you can work to help improve or make a healthier option available for birthday parties. Some other ideas for classroom parties and celebrations for holiday parties. Some examples could be to, like we mentioned, have extra recess time. Kids love this. We've seen that some teachers actually restrict recess time for students, and what we found is that the opposite is so much better. Kids need to be out and moving, so working around that. Really getting students involved in planning the celebration. Have them plan out the activity for the day. It gives them more authority and involvement in the activities and helps them take ownership of it. Organize special community service projects instead of the party. Have the students vote on a special art project or craft that they can work as part of the classroom celebrations for that specific holiday or event. Really look at craft and art project ideas that can be incorporated into the event. And ask students to make a list of some healthy items that they want incorporated within the classroom holiday or party event. What we find is that, as Melody mentioned, if you're offering students healthy options, they will eat them. So the great thing is that students actually want to have healthy options at their events as well. So children like adventure. Don't be afraid to try something new. Some schools are moving to morning parties, and the advantages of that is that the anticipation and excitement don't interfere with the classroom learning time, and kids are less distracted for the end of the day party. For Halloween, students like to arrive in costumes. Snack breaks in the morning could be yogurt, fruit parfaits, muffins, things like that. And also the importance of having breakfast is critical for learning, so kids will also be starting the day off right. So some other family events that we want to focus on is planning your family events that really get parents engaged and on board with healthy living, as this will help to create more buy-in and support for an entire healthy school food culture. It also makes it more likely that healthy habits will be reinforced at school as well as at home. So what kids are doing at school, they'll also be doing at home and vice versa. So some options of some family events are things like health fairs, working in your school garden. Like I mentioned, the school had their school garden and focused on their healthy cookbook, so that incorporated activities as well. Have a local chef come in. There's the program Let's Move Chefs to Schools, looking to see where you can have a local chef come in to offer cooking lessons or activities for the kids. Other family events could be physical activity events, fun walks or runs, obstacle courses. And if you do have a family night, incorporating nutrition lessons. So that way schools can really showcase all the healthy options that they're offering at schools, as well as healthy options that can be incorporated with healthy cooking and so forth at home. Parents and teachers versus kids sports are always a huge success. So really looking at ways that you can work on an already existing event with a school or plan a new family fun event. So some healthy food ideas is when food is part of a celebration or event, we want to make health the expectation and the easy choice for students and families. We want to offer them choices. So you want to offer a variety of healthy options from all of the food groups: fruits, vegetables, whole grains, low-fat or fat-free dairy products, and really promoting water. Promoting fruits and vegetables by arranging them so that way they're visually appealing. There's a lot of fruit art, which I'll talk about in a minute, that's really popular for kids and really helps them consume them in a fun way. So if sweet treats or other treats are present, really offer them in smaller portion sizes. So looking for those mini sizes and offering more healthier food options that can balance out those meals and snacks. And try cutting the treats in half. That'll help with the portion sizes as well. What parents can do, as well as teachers, is create sign-up sheets that already list out the items for healthy choices. So making your sign-up sheet incorporating the fruit tray, whole grain crackers, low-fat cheese, things like that. Things that you want to see brought as far as healthy options for the party. And also, you can even send home the sign-up sheets with a list of suggested healthy party snacks for parents to have their children bring in. So what we've seen is that a growing number of kids also have a severe peanut or tree nut allergy. So before bringing in any other types of foods, making sure that you speak with your teacher and the school to see what would be healthy options for your school. So here's some of the fun fruit art that I mentioned, and this is a great way to have kids help out at home to make the treats, as well as encouraging kids to eat healthy fruit options at the party event. I actually made the Christmas tree fruit art with my 5-year-old daughter this past holiday, and we brought it to one of the holiday parties that we attended, and it was completely gone. So it was fun to make as well as fun to eat for everyone to have a healthy option along with some of the other choices that were available. And as you can see, there are different options available on Pinterest, online, that you can see for specific holidays. So these are boo nanas for Halloween. Other fun art that can be themed for holiday parties or just be festive, working with your kids, having the kids separate it and create it for their school event. So another success story we have is at another school in Ohio, and it's Norwich Elementary. They actually used one of Action for Healthy Kids' free school wellness program. It's a school wellness framework. And they used this for their Healthy School efforts. The committee at the school that worked with the parent group, they led taste testings, had various challenges and other activities around fruits, vegetables, dairy, whole grains, all of the food groups as part of their Game On Ultimate Wellness Challenge activity. And during their school's winter fair fundraiser, so they also incorporated it as an event and fundraiser, the parents were treated to yogurt parfaits with whole grain topping. So it was like a yogurt parfait buffet line. They had a few moms make some homemade granola to put on the yogurt as a topping, and then they sent home the recipe to the parents, so the parents could also share that at home with the kids. And the people would taste the yogurt parfaits, and they were excited to see something like this at their carnival and fair, because usually you get snow cones and cotton candy and things like that. But they were really excited to see how well it went and how well received the parents and the students and all of the school community really got involved with supporting that and really liking the healthier option as an alternative. So now we're going to move on to healthy non-food rewards, as this is an integral part of your school's culture. Rewards happen at so many levels across the school. The school even is eligible for recognition awards, so they're wanting to recognize students as well. So teachers, administrators, and parent groups offer rewards to recognize and really celebrate student accomplishment. So we want to talk about some of those specific rewards that are offered. So school health organizations and other experts recommend non-food rewards as a best practice. So really not focusing, even at home, offering your kids food as a reward. Because providing any kind of food based on performance or behavior, what it does is it teaches children to eat when they are not hungry. So they may have received this award, it's food, they're eating it, they're not necessarily hungry, which really sets the stage for unhealthy habits that can last a lifetime and really what contributes to the childhood obesity epidemic. Food rewards, like the one on the slides, are typically high in fat, in some of our future slides, are high in fat, added sugars, sodium, things like that, that kids don't necessarily need as part of their reward. These rewards add empty calories to kids' diets and really contradict classroom lessons on nutrition. So some healthy non-food rewards, since parents do not control classroom rewards or rewards from principals and other administrators, helping to make the case as part of this parent leadership series, we're wanting our parents to offer information for their specific teachers, principals, school representatives, to offer non-food rewards. Of course, you can always advocate for healthy rewards with individual teachers, and some examples could be is to find a teacher to be your healthy rewards champion. Do things like putting up a bulletin board to promote healthy rewards. Ask teachers to take, a no food reward pledge. So they're offering things like extra recess time, student recognition, morning announcements. The student can be recognized at one of the school events or, holiday parties or things like that. So working with your PTA or PTO as a parent to really look at guidelines around healthy rewards for your school. And really recognizing those teachers who are actively promoting that, because we want to recognize the teachers that are offering healthy non-food rewards. So the recognition in itself for students to be rewarded, that's actually the biggest deal for the student, the fact that they are being recognized. The goal of rewarding students is to help them really internalize their behavior and create motivation for learning that comes from inside. So recognition in and of itself is a very powerful reward. So consider recognizing students during a school assembly, a photo recognition board, the school's website. Most kids really enjoy hearing their successes acknowledged in front of their peers. So even personal efforts such as a phone call or email to the student's parents or even a handwritten note commending the student's achievement or a certificate of recognition, those actually are sufficient for student rewards as well. So here are some other examples of non-food rewards for different grade levels as well, because what we see in elementary school may not fit perfectly for high school. So recognizing students at pep rallies, providing, a reduced or late homework pass, show and tell at the elementary school. So there's so many opportunities to offer non-healthy food rewards. Having the student, have teacher with the lunch, lunch with the teacher or lunch with the principal is really important and significant for their learning environment as well. So looking for non-food rewards to really focus on rewarding the students. Also, as you're working through PTAs or PTOs, making sure rewards that are organized by the PTA that they send a consistent health message. We want to look at the PTA calendar and see what type of message this sends. So avoid rewards that are centered around unhealthy eating, like a pancake party or a fundraiser at a fast food joint or so forth. You want to offer some healthier PTA, PTO rewards if your organization provides those for students as well. And you want to make sure that your calendar of events also reflect a healthy lifestyle as well. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it back to Melody, who's going to talk in more detail about healthy snacks.
Wonderful. Thanks, Caroline. I'm still amazed that one child might eat over 25 cupcakes or birthday celebration snacks in a school year. So as we move on to healthy snacks, I know as a parent of a kindergartner, it's really important that he gets his snack during the school day in order to ensure that he has a healthy mind and a healthy body. I mean, they need these snacks in order to give them energy to learn. But if unhealthy snacks are being brought in, as much as 30% of kids' daily calories can come from them. And if they're eating processed grain-based snack foods, almost 2/3 of those calories may be coming from added sugars. Eating well-balanced, nutrient-rich snacks throughout the school day can help ensure that kids don't get too hungry between meals, which can lead to overeating when mealtime arrives. And most importantly, it ensures that our kids are healthy and ready to learn. Making school snacks as nutritious as possible is important for student performance and the development of healthy eating habits. And there are 3 strategies that we recommend as action for healthy kids in order to help with healthy snacks. Our first one is to model healthy snacking. And you can do this by asking teachers and volunteers to make a point of eating healthy snacks and drinking healthy beverages in front of kids. You might get a little bit of pushback on this, but I think it's important that you communicate that you're not expecting them to eat healthy all the time. We just encourage them that when they are in front of kids and eating or drinking, that they provide or that they consume healthy items. A great way to encourage them to do this is maybe to provide them a water bottle or some other incentive as a gift for a teacher appreciation gift that would encourage them to choose healthy items. And a great thing that you could do is see if the school can put a big fruit bowl instead of the candy bowl in the front office. I mean, can you imagine walking into a school and they had a beautiful bowl of fruit there? You would probably assume that they have health as a priority. This small effort sends such a strong message to anyone entering the office that the school values healthy eating. Our second strategy is to promote healthy snacking. There are a bunch of ways to do this, and luckily many of them are free. You can hang up colorful posters around these themes and promote them in your newsletters, on your website, and even on the flyers you send home. USDA's My Plate icon and messaging is in itself very colorful. And you can even promote Eat a Rainbow, which encourages eating natural foods that come in a variety of colors. A fun little catchy phrase is go slow and woe. Go foods can be eaten almost any time. Slow foods should be eaten less often, and woe foods should be eaten only once in a while or on special occasions. And I think one of the most impactful things you can do is see if you can conduct a taste test. If kids can taste items and see that they like them, they're more likely to choose them both in school and at home. And to follow this up, if you are able to conduct a taste test, think of almost creating a taste test report card. Let the student fill out what they tried and if they liked it or not. They can then bring that home to their parent so the parent knows that it's safe to go to the grocery store and purchase these things and prepare them at home because their student will eat it. And volunteer to make a classroom chart that tracks when kids bring in fresh fruits and veggies for a snack. And you can even encourage them to do this by offering a non-food reward that Caroline reviewed when students reach certain milestones. Depending on your school's population, be sure to be sensitive if you take this approach, as some families might not be able to afford daily fresh fruits and veggies. And our third tip is to come up with ideas for providing healthy snacks as part of your initiative. Some families might be willing to provide extra snacks for kids who can't bring them. Maybe the PTO or PTA has funds they'd be willing to contribute. Don't hesitate to seek community partners and funding opportunities that could help your school provide healthy snacks. Excuse me. For example, perhaps the school can partner with a local grocery store that would be willing to donate fruits and veggies. If your school has a high free and reduced lunch population, it may be easier to set up these types of partnerships. And one of your best resources is your school cafeteria. They might be able to fill that front office fruit basket with some delicious items from their cafeteria. When you're providing the snacks, work to put plenty of fruits and veggies on the menu. It's startling, but only about 1% of adults and 2% of children meet both of the daily fruit and vegetable targets recommended by the USDA's Dietary Guidelines for Americans 2010. The USDA urges us to fill half of our plate with fruits and vegetables at every eating occasion. For most Americans, this means more than doubling the amount of fruits and vegetables we eat daily. And if you look at this slide, you can see some great resources for snack ideas. Excuse me. Nutrition education and promotion is all about the practice of teaching about how to choose and enjoy healthy food and about the benefits healthy foods have for one's body and mind. Many school districts, through their wellness policy, require nutrition education to be taught in the classroom. And going back to the 2010 Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act, it has an additional requirement that all local wellness policies include goals for nutrition promotion. Nutrition education and promotion can take place across the school, formally and informally, inside and outside of the classroom, in the cafeteria, really all around the school and at school events. Here are some ideas. Parents can always encourage teachers to spend more time on nutrition in the classroom by offering resources. Links to the free curriculum, connections with the community resources, or offers to conduct workshops in the classroom. There's a great resource from USDA Team Nutrition listed on this screen. Ask if you can put up signs that promote healthy eating. Write healthy eating tips for the school newsletter, or have the wellness team create its own newsletter or website that provides updates on team activities along with information on healthy living. Or even distribute an existing newsletter, such as Nibbles for Health, developed by USDA's Team Nutrition. Another thing, you can lead a student group dedicated to promoting healthy eating. When students are leading it and it's their idea, it has a huge impact with their peer groups. You can also plan a fun and interactive family event around nutrition education. Take advantage of events like parent-teacher conferences when you have a built-in audience to provide healthy snacks and nutrition tips. Or you can plan a health fair. Bring in community partners to provide resources and different perspectives. Just make sure you have a fun and catchy title, because if this is new to your school and you call it a health fair, they might not participate like you want. But if you give it a fun title hinting at health, you probably have a lot of participation. Find out what organizations in your community offer in terms of nutrition classes, workshops, assemblies, or events that they can bring to your school for free or even low cost. Museums, healthcare providers, gardening organizations, and so many more organizations are just so eager to get into the schools. For example, in the Denver area, Kaiser has an educational theater program they'll take into the schools free of charge. I know that in Florida, one of our local hospitals will come into the schools free of charge. And believe it or not, even though their program is free, they have a hard time getting into the schools. So if you can facilitate that communication, you're doing both your school and the organization a favor. Again, lead a student group dedicated to promoting healthy eating. Or you can even plan food tastings, like we were talking about, for the students to have an opportunity to try healthy foods, particularly when your school food service is willing to incorporate popular choices into the school menu. Offering taste tests of healthy school menu items helps to promote those items in the lunch line or in breakfast. We encourage you to do tastings around breakfast as well. The Ohio Action for Healthy Kids team created a great toolkit for putting on taste tests. And don't forget, every time you have an opportunity to share food, like all those activities we've already covered, it's a great opportunity to talk about what you're serving and why, and an opportunity for kids to practice making healthy choices if you serve nutritious options. So I'm so proud as the Florida Action for Healthy Kids State Coordinator to share a success story from Ocala, Florida. Spar Elementary used nutrition education, including taste tests, very successfully to improve their school food culture. As part of their Game On program, they placed a huge emphasis on healthy eating. They asked teachers to address the topic with students. They used student-produced school morning television show to let students talk about which fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and dairy products were on the day's lunch menu. And they even organized a series of taste tests that were offered to students in different grades throughout the year. At one point, they did a vegetable taste test with 4th grade students. It was the beginning of December, and students had the opportunity to learn about and taste red bell peppers, cherry tomatoes, and yellow squash with and without ranch dip. And you can look at this quote from a member of their Game On team. About a week after the taste test, the teacher came into my office full of smiles. She had just allowed the students to select what they wanted to serve at their Christmas party. They unanimously chose the vegetables from the taste test rather than cookies, candies, and chips. In addition to changing kids' attitudes about food, the school also experienced dramatic increases in their test scores after promoting healthy eating and physical activity. So this is huge. Not only are kids eating healthy, but it's having a direct result on their academic performance. And we have another school in Florida that's done a similar thing where they were rewarding students with donuts, and then they chose fruit kebabs, and the students chose on their own fruit kebabs after a taste test to be used as rewards instead of donuts. Moving on to school gardens. They are such a powerful teaching tool. A 2010 study of 238 middle school students showed that kids in schools offering cooking and gardening classes integrated with classroom curriculum scored higher on nutrition knowledge and showed stronger preference for green leafy vegetables. Younger students increased fruit and vegetable intake by nearly 1.5 servings per day. I know with my own kids that when we recently harvested broccoli, they were so excited to have it for dinner. They were begging me to cook it. Gardens are just a wonderful way to get kids excited about healthy eating. And it's really a valuable tool for children and adults to gain hands-on experience learning about real healthy food. Garden to cafeteria programs, where produce grown in the school garden is served in the cafeteria, and youth farmers markets make school gardening even more educational and sustainable. And we really encourage you to explore your local resources to get a garden started. Are there any organizations or initiatives which provide coaching or training or materials? There's some local slow food chapters which are devoted to helping school gardens. You can look into community or urban garden organizations, or even extension services and their Master Gardener program, and possibly even 4-H. Check out the resources on the slide. There are comprehensive websites and toolkits out there for school gardening. You might be thinking, well, school gardens, such a great idea, but how do I get funding for it? Well, there are so many grants for school gardens available right now. The National Gardening Association offers grant programs through different partners, as do many other businesses, foundations, and organizations like Action for Healthy Kids. Visit the Action for Healthy Kids website to learn about our current grant opportunities, and also check out Lowe's and Whole Foods Kids Foundation. I also want to talk a little bit about Farm to School. Farm to School programs connect K through 12 schools and local farms with the objectives of improving student nutrition, providing agriculture, health, and nutrition education opportunities, and supporting local and regional farmers. At its core, Farm to School is about establishing relationships between local foods and school children. Farm to School programs usually include some of the components listed on the slide, including the inclusion of local products in school meal, breakfast, lunch, after-school snacks, and in taste tests, education tools, and classroom snacks. An introduction of food-related curriculum development and learning opportunities through school gardens, farm tours, farmer in the classroom sessions, chefs in the classroom, and so many more. Great thing about Farm to School is when you're getting produce from local farms, you can ensure it's at its peak, so it tastes its best, and it is nutritionally dense. We encourage you to visit the National Farm to School Network to learn more. Next thing we'll talk about is healthy concessions and competitive foods. Concessions sold at school events, vending machines, a la carte lines, which as a reminder are foods sold individually in the cafeteria, and school stores also provide an opportunity for schools to send consistent, positive health messages. A la carte lines are usually operated by nutrition services. Concessions, vending machines, and school stores may be run by the school, nutrition services, the PTO, the PTA, booster clubs, a sports program, or really any other group. These types of sales provide fairly easy and lucrative money, often by selling unhealthy foods to students. So what can you do about this? Well, your first step in trying to make concessions and competitive foods healthier is to find out who runs them. Once you do, approach the group in a friendly and professional manner and explain that your wellness team is trying to create a healthier school environment and that you'd like to discuss the possibility of offering healthier choices. Use your district wellness policy as a platform whenever you can. It may address vending machines or school stores and make recommendations or set rules. Many policies state that competitive foods cannot be available during the lunch or breakfast window because kids will eat them instead of the usually healthier school meals, and they take away revenue from struggling food services. If your school is not already doing this, consider it as an option. Vending machines are usually in schools for a contracted amount of time. So your school may have to keep the vending machines around until the contract period is over. You may be able to talk to the vending company about trading unhealthy options for healthier ones until a new contract can be written. For example, some schools have changed their soda vending machines to only sell water, 100% fruit juice, and other healthier, low-sugar options. Try pricing healthier items cheaper than less healthy options. 2 studies have found that lowering the price of fruits, vegetables, and low-fat snacks resulted in a significant increase in the sale of these foods without a decrease in total revenue. And talk with local public health experts about grants or other ways to fund healthy changes in this area. Convince school and community members that the changes are win-win. Concessions and competitive foods will continue to make money, and students will be consuming healthier food and drink options. Of course, when you approach the schools about this, there is going to be a concern that the schools will lose revenue if they switch to healthier foods in their vending machines and other competitive food venues. CDC summarized the existing evidence of the financial impact on schools that have implemented strong nutrition standards and found that while some schools report an initial decrease in revenue after implementing nutrition standards, a growing body of evidence suggests that schools can have strong nutrition standards and maintain financial stability. In fact, many schools end up making more money as increased sales of school meals make up for losses from a la carte and vending sales. 80% of principals in one survey even reported little or no change in revenue when they implemented a state policy restricting the sale of junk foods and soda in schools. So the Healthier U.S. School Challenge is a voluntary certification initiative established in 2004 by the USDA to recognize those schools that have created healthier school environments through the promotion of nutrition and physical activity. This is an awards program where schools work on different initiatives related to many of the topics we've covered and are given bronze, silver, and gold achievement awards and monetary incentives when they reach different levels. The programs include specific criteria for competitive foods that can be used as a guide for selecting healthier options. The criteria will be updated to reflect the new standards for competitive foods. And the Healthier U.S. School Challenge also has a competitive foods calculator. You can plug in nutrition information from specific food items to see if they meet this criteria. This is really a great way to get schools excited about making healthier changes so they can receive awards and recognition for their healthy school culture. And while we were talking about vending machines, sometimes your best option is to go in with alternatives. Don't just suggest that they get rid of the unhealthy foods. Bring in a list of healthier alternatives. And on this screen, you can see some of those healthier foods for vending machines in school stores and a la carte lines. Always look for items that are low fat, low sodium, and low sugar. You can also sell non-food items like school supplies, school sports bottles, and merchandise that features the school logo. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Caroline to cover a few last slides.
Great, thanks, Melody. So I know we've gone over a lot of great information, and if you have any questions, please feel free to enter them into the question box, and we will try to take a few at the end of the call, but still be mindful of your time. With all the information that we've presented, I know most of you have ideas or have already started to work on these examples of school wellness initiatives at your school or with your PTA or PTO. So before we wrap up today's call, we want to also discuss the issue of sustainability. What you can do to ensure that your healthy school food initiatives will really take hold and become a permanent part of your school food culture year after year. You don't want it to be a one-time event or a one-time reward program with your school. You want it to continue on. So there are two general approaches to creating change in your school food culture. The first approach is to put these healthy practices into action using the practices that we've just described, starting small and then expanding to whatever scale is feasible and flexible within your school. This is more of a grassroots approach, really addressing the issue from the bottom up. So working with those key stakeholders to have your school wellness initiatives accomplished. The second approach is to write changes into school wellness policies and school improvement plans. Really incorporating these practices into your school improvement goals will help you to stay on track and keep attention focused on student health, which in turn will improve student academic performance, and what we saw within some of our school examples. You want to be sure to include teachers and school staff in the conversation as you develop these policies. Really work with the food service director, work with the teachers, work with the principals to create these policies. Since they will be the ones enforcing the policy, their buy-in is most important. And really engaging other parents and students, having that student group as part of the taste testing and having the student voice is also important. The approach you take initially will depend on your school environment and your school's leadership. Ideally, you'd want your school wellness policies and wellness practices to move along together. But when changes are written into the wellness policy or school improvement plan, they provide a backbone for your efforts to change the overall wellness practices. So at the same time, when positive wellness practices begin to take hold in your school, they provide more buy-in when there's a written policy in place. So ultimately, both approaches are necessary to transform your school environment. So some other sustainability components and ways to increase chances for sustainability is to group your initiatives together under a school health or school wellness umbrella. Finding school wellness frameworks that can really fit your school's environment. So individual projects tend to have more of an impact if they're part of a larger ongoing initiative. So not just hosting, one healthy taste testing or one healthy school event. Establishing a wellness committee and using that committee to drive and promote the initiatives forward. Using tested frameworks, which include best practices, are always key. Programs like Action for Healthy Kids, Game On, the National Dairy Council's Fuel Up to Play 60, and also Action for Healthy Kids Students Taking Charge. We've found that some of these school wellness frameworks fit better within school communities. So they fit more within the elementary school, the middle school, the high school level as far as these school wellness activities. All three of these programs shown on your screen are free, and you can tailor them to meet your school's needs. So if there are additional resources that you want to incorporate, or you could even combine Game On and Students Taking Charge to create some of the framework or examples that you want to use in your schools. Student engagement is key in these programs and to the success of these programs as well. So another thing that you can easily do is sign up your school for a recognition program. After you have accomplished all of these great wellness initiatives, you can sign your school up for recognition programs through various organizations. This will help to cement your school's wellness identity, which can be used as a marketing tool for your school to also help promote individual schools at the campus level to help elevate the district as well. Sometimes your states may implement a state-level award as well. But at the national level, you may want to refer to the Healthier U.S. Schools Challenge. Like we talked about earlier, the Alliance for a Healthier Generation also has a recognition program, and there are numerous recognition programs available at the state level. So I really encourage you to work with your school wellness team to have your wellness framework in place, your programs in place, and then really move towards the sustainability component of signing up for a recognition program for your school. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it back to Heidi, who's going to go over some additional information.
Great. Thank you, Caroline. So here on your slide, you'll see that we have a number of resources, just 2 links listed here. The first one is part of our parent toolkit. So you'll find once you click on that link a number of tip sheets related to nutrition education, healthy snacks, fundraising, et cetera, as you can see listed there. So I recommend that you check that out and see some of those resources and share them with your own school community. And then the second resource listed there is the Action for Healthy Kids Share Healthy Foods and Physical Activity in School presentation. So this is another great tool that you can use. It's a slideshow presentation that you can download and share it with your audience. So feel free to download the presentation and use it at a PTA meeting or another school meeting. It uses many of the same slides that were used in this webinar, and it can be used as a tool to advocate for a healthier school food culture. So for example, it shares facts about the obesity crisis. It points out some of the inconsistent messages that we are giving our kids through some of our common daily practices at school. It talks about best practices, and it really calls all members of the school community to come together to make the school food culture healthier. So it's certainly a great resource that you can use. So I recommend that you use this presentation to challenge your school community to share healthy food and activity at school. Parents, teachers, students, school leaders, community members, all of these folks can make a lasting impact, especially when we combine our efforts. But the key is really to provide children with consistent messages around health, nutrition, and physical activity. So that's something that this presentation certainly highlights, and I, again, recommend that you check it out and download it for sharing at your own school. So at this time, before we wrap up, we'll address just a couple of questions. I'll point these out to Caroline and Melody. So the first question states that many of the suggestions that you all have shared involve spending time with teachers, principals, and staff. What has been their reaction to the rewards as they involve more of their time? So can you provide some insight on how teachers react and maybe how to overcome some of those challenges if teachers are not initially supportive because it's requiring more of their time to be creative in how they reward students?
Sure, I can start. So what we found is that most schools and teachers as well, they already offer some type of reward or awards program for their students. So they may already be doing something in place. And as you're meeting with these teachers during your parent-teacher night or school events or, outings at the school, discussing with the teacher opportunities to enhance those, to make them healthier award or reward options, as we mentioned. What we found is that a lot of teachers are actually on board with, allowing the student to have, line leader recognition or student recognition, or even having that information passed to the office staff to where it's announced in the morning announcements. Teachers don't necessarily see it as additional work because they're offering free award options, as well as really having the students participate in more of the activities, because they're seeing that some of these award opportunities are really helping recognize the student the same way they would with other recognition programs, but it's really focusing on the umbrella of the wellness programs of incorporating health and wellness within all of the school framework.
And Caroline, I think it's really important to communicate to teachers that some of these not so healthy rewards, like cupcakes, take time to pass out and to also clean up. And some of the simple, healthier options we suggested can be done in less time it would take the class to consume their cupcakes. And I would also suggest anytime you're talking with teachers or administration to relate your communication back to academic performance. And a great tool to do so is Action for Healthy Kids Learning Connection.
Great. Thank you so much. I know we're running short on time, so we'll just take one other quick question. And this question is related to school gardens. So the question is, many schools have problems with gardens being tended to during the summer months. Do you have any advice for maintaining the gardens while school is out of session?
I think it's really important to work with your community partners to ensure that those gardens can be maintained during the summer. One of the best resources you can utilize is your local extension office. Every county across the United States has one, and most of them have master gardener volunteer programs where those community members are trained about 60 hours in gardening, and in turn they have to give time back to the community. And you can work with them to do a Master Gardener Adopt a School program. Then they feel really empowered to take leadership with the garden and almost see it as their own project, and oftentimes are happy to help over the summer. And those Master Gardeners can even train parents and other community volunteers in how to best care for the garden and possibly set up a summer schedule to ensure that that garden's taken care of and ready to go when students come back in the fall.
Great. Well, thank you so much. Go ahead. Okay, it sounds like we're good on that. If we were not able to get to your question, we'll definitely make sure that we do so in a follow-up email. But at this time, to be mindful of time, we'll go ahead and wrap up our webinar. As we mentioned, we'll send out a follow-up email in 2 to 3 business days with a link to the recording and the handouts. This will also include a registration link for the next webinar in the series. So if you want to learn more about Action for Healthy Kids and how you can get involved in our mission and our movement, I encourage you to take the Every Kid Healthy Pledge and help us create a 100,000 person movement to make all schools healthier places. Taking the pledge takes just 10 seconds, and once you've signed on, we'll show you ways big and small that you can turn your commitment into action. So thank you again for your time today. Have a great day, and look for that follow-up email in just a couple of business days.